Noto Hanto points upward like a thumb into the Sea of Japan. Even its rocks are wild, carved by the waves and great winds of typhoons. Today, few people live there, where their ancestors cut rice fields from the steep sides of the hills. Their lives are much the same as they have been for centuries, planting rice, catching fish, harvesting rice, and, at each change of season, the playing of drums.
For the full moon of autumn, they play the drums. For the first snow of winter, they play the drums. For the cherry blossoms of spring, for the fireflies of summer, and at harvest time, they dance for the ghosts of their ancestors and play on their drums. Many years ago, a powerful warlord named Kenshin threatened the people of Nabun village. It was known far beyond Noto Hanto as the wealthiest village on the coast. The people there had the best fishing, the best mountain vegetables, good hunting, and the most delicious rice. Kenshin wanted their rice crops and taxes. He wanted to taste their fish. He wanted their fathers and young men for soldiers. He sent his samurai warriors on ships to conquer them and claim their riches. The rice had been harvested when a messenger rode over the hills into the village. He had news. The samurai were coming. They were coming by the sea and would attack from the bay.
Frantically, the villagers collected what weapons they had, but these were only a farmer's scythe, a hunter's spear, a fisherman's harpoon. What use could they be against the swords of the warriors? "We can never outfight the samurai," one man said. "All is lost," cried a woman. But an old man said, "Go get the drums. If we cannot fight them, perhaps we can trick them." The children scattered one way, their parents another.
They brought all the drums down to the beach, small, high-voiced drums and sharp metal bells. Middle-sized drums that shook the leaves on the trees. Large drums that boomed like thunder. And they brought the great taiko, a drum so huge that 8 men could play it at the same time. It was covered by a stretched skin fastened with hundreds of nails. When that drum pounded, it sounded like a mountain exploding.
The villagers hid the drums and piled up wood for fires. Suddenly, someone shrieked with fear. Ah! Emerging from the woods were wild monsters with wide, blank eyes and long green hair and skin covered with welts. The monsters ran towards the beach. It was the children running, wearing masks. Ah! The old man cried. They had fooled everyone. The drums, the fires, and now these monster faces. Would not the samurai melt with fear? The villagers scattered again. Some went into the woods and sliced off great pieces of tree bark. Some ran down along the shore and pulled up tangles of stringy seaweed. Some gathered handfuls of white hair from the tail of the messenger's horse. Swiftly they made terrifying masks. As the sun sank into the sea, 4 huge ships rounded the cliff into the bay. Their sides were stuck with oars. On their deck 1,000 soldiers flashed red. The villagers stood awestruck on the beach. Then someone took courage and, running, lit the fires. The sharp metal bell called the drummers to play. The children and then everyone covered their faces with masks. Already the fires were spitting flames. Louder and louder the villagers pounded the drums. The ships slowed on the darkening water. A rain of arrows came, but the drums roared an answer. The light of the fires licked the waves. The gruesome monsters danced. All night the villagers drummed. The sound pounded like blood in the ears of the samurai. All night the ships sat on the sea, but they came no closer, even as the sun rose. For on the beach hideous monsters loomed from the mists of the sea. As the drums boomed, the monsters came shouting down into the water, shaking with fury, and behind them the great taiko sounded so loud and low that the ocean itself seemed to tremble. Back! Came the call from one of the ships, and the oars sliced the water like swords. The villagers waited until the mist cleared and the birds could be heard over the echo of the drums. They waited and watched as the samurai ships faded in the distance, never to return. Since the year 1576, the people of Noto Hanto have celebrated their ancestors' victory over the samurai. In a festival each summer, they play the drums and wear masks of bark and seaweed. The masks are frightening, but it is the beat of the drums that stalls the beat of the heart.